Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Welcome to our beginners class for the hip. My name is Ryan. I'll be taking today's class. So the purpose of the class is to build strength and stability in and around the hip joint, so looking at the surrounding structures and the muscles around it. This class is designed for people who are kind of recently struggling with their symptoms, haven't seen much improvement, or are new to the program. So the actual class itself will have a very big kind of range, nice variety of stretches and exercise to help build strength in kind of the lower limb, the core, and the trunk as well. So on your screen in front of you, you'll see a list of equipment that you're going to need for this class. Please make sure you've got all of that with you before you begin. And after you've got all that, we'll move on to the warm-up. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start with a bit of a warm-up now, just get the body ready for the class. So I'm going to start out with a nice, gentle march, just very steady on the spot. So looking to drive them knees up, get them arms moving, make sure we're swinging the arms as well. Make sure we're taking nice deep breaths while we're working through the exercise. So kind of the aim of the warm-up here is to raise the heart rate, activate the muscles that we're looking to work, mobilise the joints, and then potentiate, which to make the exercise we're doing a little bit more difficult as we progress into the actual class itself. So keep yourself stood nice and upright, nice deep breaths. Keep driving them knees up, don't let them fall down. So as the heart rate begins to pick up, we'll actually increase muscle temperature as well, which improves muscular flexibility. All things that are good to help us perform and to prevent any kind of injury or anything like that. Okay, so we're going to progress this march into a nice, steady jog. Just keeping it on the spot. Again, don't forget about your breathing. Nice deep breath throughout. Nice and light on the toes. If you want to swing the arms a little bit as well. That's it, a little bit longer. Again, just kind of jogging at a comfortable pace, nothing too serious for you. Okay, I'm going to move on to the joint mobilisation for the hips, the lower back, and the pelvis. So we're just drawing these nice big circles as far as we can. Keep the hands on the hips to guide. And then we're going to change direction and the exact same thing going the opposite way. Again, nice deep breaths. Really feel that kind of stretch through the muscles as you push in each different direction. Okay, and then just on one leg at a time, just as far as you're comfortable with, just swing that leg in forwards and in front behind you. Focus on one point in front of you, or pop your arms out just to help you balance a little bit. And again, you can progress it just by swinging a little bit further. So you're just looking to feel that stretch in that hip and activate the glutes as well. Also activate through the leg where we're just keeping that little bit of balance. Okay, and then the exact same thing on the other side. Again, pick one spot in front of you, get the arms out, and just swing that leg. If you do need to put your foot back down to gauge your balance, that's fine. Good stuff. Okay, and then we're just going to start to bring it up the body a little bit into the shoulders. I'm just going to draw these nice big circles with the hands. Again, progress it yourself, kind of as far as you want to go, as far as feels comfortable for you. If that's just a small circle down here, that's fine. If we can we bring them up into a nice big circle, forwards and backwards, and just keep going. Helps to stretch out the chest, the upper back, even work into the neck a little bit as well. Again, a good warm-up kind of targets the whole body rather than just certain structures. Good. Make sure we are changing directions. Good stuff. And I'm going to move on to mobilise the actual spine itself. So various different movements for the spine. So I'm going to start with feet nice and close together. Again, nice deep breaths while we work through these. Popping our hands on the front of our thighs and just sliding down as far as we can. When you reach that point, very slowly return to your starting position and repeat. So 5 of these. Again, make sure we are just staying in a comfortable range. So if that's only to your knees and back up, that's perfectly fine. It's just as far as you can go. Okie doke. And then once we've done 5, the exact same thing, hands round on the back, just below the glutes. And we're just going to slide down towards the back of the knees. Again, you won't get anywhere near as far as you will going forwards. And again, it's just as comfortable as you can, kind of in terms of distance. So 5. Once you've done your 5, hands round onto the sides, kind of where your pockets should be. Maybe open up your feet a little bit wider for this one. And stand up nice and straight, and you're just going to slide one hand at a time down towards the knee to side flex the spine. And the exact same thing going in the other direction. Good. Again, nice deep breathing as we work through. So to each side is 1 rep, so you do 10 in total. Good, last one. Then you're going to, again, feet still in kind of position, arms out in front of you, and you're going to rotate to look over one shoulder, and then rotate the other way. Again, each side being 1 rep, 5 of these. So again, 10 in total. Keep counting your head. Make sure you keep the hips facing forwards, so we're just rotating the lower trunk. Okay, then give everything a nice little shake off as we draw towards the end of our warm-up. So we'll move on to the actual class itself now. So here's just a quick reminder of the equipment we'll need for this class. Okay, so this exercise is looking at hip abduction. So looking at one of the big movements of the hip, which is bringing that hip up and out to the side. Again, looking to improve range of motion through this exercise. So we're going to start off laid on the floor. So very gently bring yourself down onto your back. Okay. Get nice and comfortable. And I'm just going to 1 leg at a time. Lift the leg, abduct it up, out to the side, as far as feels comfortable, and back in. Again, repeating on the other side. Good. Nice and slowly, taking nice deep breaths as we work from one side to the other. So we do both, 1 on each side, that is 1 rep. Going to repeat this 7 times, so 14 in total, really slowly. Again, we're trying to get it as far out as possible, working through your individual limit. And just keep a mental count in your head of how many you've completed. Really steady. Good, one more on each side. Good. And after you've done 7 on each side, slowly sit up and get yourself comfortable, and then just take 20 seconds, give time for the muscles to recover. Some nice deep breaths before we move into our second set. Okay, so moving on to our second set, again repeating that hip abduction movement that we're working through there. Getting slowly lower down into a nice comfortable position. Bring the legs nice and close to each other. Lift the leg up and slowly out to the side. Slowly bring you back in. Remember, we're just working through your limited physical range. And just take it as far out as you can before we return back in. Maintain that nice, deep, steady breathing. Again, we're working up to 7 of these on each side. Good, really slowly. I feel the hips starting to ache a little bit as we really stabilise that hold, that movement. And again, after 7 reps, lay the legs down, let them rest, and slowly bring yourself back into a seated position. And whenever you're ready, again, nice and slowly bring yourself back up onto your feet. Again, just giving the legs a nice little bit of a shake. Take some nice, big, deep breaths. And just have a little bit of time for recovery. So take 20 seconds let the legs and the hips recover, and we'll move on to our next exercise. Okay, so our next exercise we've got is a bird dog, which is going to be a really good exercise to build strength in the core, the trunk and the lower limbs and the glutes as well. Also it brings in a little bit of engagement of the shoulders and the arms, so really good overall whole body exercise. So we start out on all fours, so we're going to bring our arms and hands back so the shoulders are over the hands, then knees are just under the hips so everything's in line. And all we're going to do is taking it in turns with opposite arm, opposite leg, extend them out in front of us and bring them back onto the ground. Alternating one side to another. And we'll repeat this movement for a minute, have a short little rest and then repeat once more. Okay, so starting in 3, 2 and 1. Making sure we're doing these really slow, under control, reach as far as we can. Try and move them at the same time, so rather than arm first, then leg. It's a synchronized movement, both at the same time. Want to do this really slowly. Make sure we're taking nice deep breaths as we're working through. Maintain that slow pace throughout. The slower we do them, the little more difficult they should be. While they're working to control. And as we work towards a minute, try and fit in one more, and that'll bring us to the minute. Slowly bring yourself back up and onto your feet. Again, just give the whole body a little bit of a shimmy. Have a drink, have a breather, take 20 seconds and we'll go again for our second set. Okay, so going again with our second set. Again, repeating the exact same movement for 1 minute again. So again, slowly bring ourselves down onto all fours, ensuring that shoulders are over the hands and hips are in line with the knees. And again, 1 minute, just really slow, under control, alternating sides, starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Reaching as far as we can, in front and behind us. As slow on the way out as we are on the way back in. Good stuff, keep going, make sure we don't lose that pace, keeping that really slow, steady pace throughout. Oop. And fit one more in to bring us to the minute. And slowly return back up onto our feet. Again, give them legs a nice little shake, have a little breather, just 20 seconds and we'll move on to the next exercise. Okay, so moving on to our next exercise, which will be our seated cycling. So again, I'm positioned just in front of a chair, kind of to help support the hips while we work for this exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to position ourselves sat at the edge of the chair. Again, put the hands on the chair if needs be. We just want to make sure the glutes are right at the edge of the chair so we can really work for that range of motion. So kind of the idea of the exercise is to really restore that range of motion for the knee joint. So you can either do one leg at a time, or if you can hold yourself, just going to hold this position for 1 minute. So bend and flex that knee, almost like you're pedaling a bike. Okay, so 1 minute, starting in 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. So you should feel it's working the quads, the hip flexors, and it's really good for working that knee joint through its range of motion. So if you need to sit back, that's fine. Just make sure we've got that clearance of the heel off of the floor. Almost drawing a circle going forward with that heel, like you're pedaling a bike. Good stuff. So work at your own pace, nice deep breathing. If you need to slow it down, that's fine. And just make sure we're holding it for a minute or as close to a minute as we can. Just a little bit longer, keep working. Okay, 10 seconds left, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just place the feet back on the floor. Give yourself a second, bring yourself back up onto the feet. Again, give the legs a nice little shake. All we're going to do is we're going to take a nice 20-second little breather to get yourself a drink before we move on to our second set. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our rest break. Again, moving on to our second set. So bring ourselves back into that seated position. Remember, we need to be sat at the edge of the chair. You can lean back a little bit if needed, pop the hands on the chair if that helps. And we're just going to bring the heels up off the floor, and again, starting in 3, 2, 1, to keep that cycling motion going. Nice and slow, nice and steady. Keep flexing that knee, keep extending it. That's halfway there, keep going. Keep going as long as we can. 15 seconds left, keep pushing. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Again, just place the feet nice and flat on the floor, give the hips a bit of a wiggle. Bring yourself back onto your feet again, give the legs a nice little shake off. And that'll bring us to the end of that exercise. Again, have a little bit of a drink, have a breather before we move on to our next exercise. Okay, so next up we've got an exercise or a stretch to target the glutes and the hamstrings. So we're going to start off on our back, so slowly lower down into that nice comfortable position, laid on our back. Okay. And then one side at a time, we're just going to lift this knee up towards the chest. Lifting your leg up off the ground and pulling that knee in towards the chest. So if we take nice deep breaths, and we hold this for 20 seconds. So on my count now, we're going to pull the knee right in towards the chest and then hold that for 20 seconds. Okay, so 20 seconds starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice deep breathing. You feel that stretch right through the glutes and into the hamstrings as well. And lower that leg to the ground after 20 seconds. And again, switching legs, pulling the knee right into the chest again. Again, 20 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, and pull. Yeah, really, really nice deep breathing. As we take a deep breath, it should allow us to pull that knee a little bit closer into the chest. Good, and after 20 seconds, just lower down onto the ground. And slowly bring ourselves up into a seated position. Just get comfortable, take a nice few deep breaths, and just take 20 seconds for a bit of a breather, a bit of a recovery break before we move into our second set. Okay, moving on to our second set, just lowering down onto our back. Again, starting with the side that we started with at our first set. And just pull the knee into that chest. Real nice deep breaths again. Holding that for 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds, again, just lowering that leg down and swapping over onto the other side. Again, really try and pull that knee into the chest as far as we can. Use his leg to push if needs be. And that real nice deep breath for 20 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, pull. Make sure you keep pulling that knee in, don't let it fall out. Or move away from the chest. And after 20 seconds, slowly lower back down onto the ground. And again, bring yourself up into a nice seated position. So some nice deep breaths and just take 20 seconds for a little bit of a recovery, and we'll move into our third and final set. Okay, and moving on to repeat our third and final set. Again, very slowly lowering down onto our back. Bring that knee up. Again, 20 seconds pulling that knee into that chest, starting in 3, 2, and 1. Really nice deep breathing as we hold that. The more controlled our breathing is, the further we can push into the stretch. And after 20 seconds, we're going to slowly lower that leg down into the ground and repeat on the other side. Again, pulling that knee right into that chest for 20 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Really, really pull. Got one more. Control that breathing. And again, after 20 seconds, we're just going to slowly lower down into the ground. Again, slowly bringing ourselves back up into a seated position. In our own time, up onto our feet. Go to give your legs a nice little bit of a shake. Take some nice deep breaths before we move in to our next exercise. Okay, so moving on to our next exercise, which will be sit to stand. So you can see I'm positioned in front of the chair behind me. So what we're looking to do here is work on core and trunk engagement as we're kind of going from a sitting position to a standing, and vice versa as we return back to that sitting position. So again, almost like a little bit of a squat, but a little bit differently because we're using that chair for a little bit of assistance. Okay, so just position yourself right in front of the chair, and then as slowly as you can, we're going to lower down onto the chair. So imagine the chair is not there until you find that point where the glutes touch it, and then you can drop into the chair. So we're not letting the weight drop back, we're slowly controlling down into that chair. And we're going to repeat this. So sitting to standing is 1 rep, so 10 of these. So keep working through. So really kind of make sure, see if we can squeeze the abs as we lower down. Really, really slowly. And one more to take us to our 10th rep. and back up. Brill. So that's our 10th rep. And the end of that set, we'll just take a bit of a rest break, take 20 seconds, have a drink before we move on to our second set. Okay, so that should be our rest break finish. So we'll move on to our second and final set. Again, we're going to repeat the exact same process, making sure we're taking nice deep breaths as we slowly lower into that chair and bring ourselves back into that standing position. Okay, so make sure we're positioned just in front of the chair, so we don't want to miss it. So nice and slowly, bringing ourselves down. Try not to look at the chair. It helps if you're not looking at the chair, then obviously you don't know where it is, and it just helps you go a little bit slower. And just wait till you find that point where the glutes touch the chair. So as we're training good practice of getting up and out of a chair without using our arms to shift our weight. We're getting the lower limbs, the glutes and the trunk to help us out. So 2 more, take us to our 10th rep. And 1 more, nice and slowly, find that chair and back up nice and slow. Okay, so that brings us to the end of that set and the end of the exercise as well. Again, take 20 seconds, get a drink, have a breather before we move on to our next exercise. Okay, so our next exercise is a very slow march, driving the knees up as far as we can. So let's take this really, really slow and steady, and we're looking to see if the hip and work on the hip stability as we're working through certain movements. So bringing that hip right up as we stabilize using the other leg. So we're alternating legs from one side to the other. I'm going to repeat this for 1 minute. So I'll just kind of show what we're going to do before we start with our first minute. So just very, very steady. Hands on hips always helps. Slowly bring that knee up and back down and swap to the other side. Okay, so we're just going to perform that for 1 minute. So I'm going to start that in 3, 2, 1 and go. Really, really slowly. We'll take nice deep breaths while we're working through. Really helps keep our balance as we're working up and down. We're looking to keep the pelvis nice and level as we work up. So we're not looking to come up and tilt over, keeping the hips nice and level as we work up and back down. And just keep alternating from one side to the other. That's halfway, so just keep going. The slower we do this, the better. Again, just work driving that knee up as high as you can. If you have a bit of a wobble, just pop the foot back down and try again. Make sure we're lifting that knee up as slowly as we lower it back down to the ground. Good, and after 1 minute, I'm just gonna stop. Give the legs a nice little bit of a shake out. Shimmy the hips. And just take 20 seconds to have some nice deep breaths to recover. Let the legs recover before we move into our second set. And moving on to our second set, again repeating that 1 minute of that very slow high knee march. Again, hands on the hips, nice deep breaths, and just slowly bring that knee up above the hip. Just alternating sides. So it's really difficult to keep that downwards phase really, really slow, really focus on that. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1 minute. I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Good, so same as last time, really, really steady. Good. Slow as we can. Make sure we keep switching sides. Really nice deep breath as we're working through. That's halfway, keep going. Good. So using them hands, we can feel if the hips are tilting. Get a bit of feedback through the hands. Try and keep things level. Good. And after a minute again, let's just let the legs down. Give them a little bit of a shake. Take some nice deep breaths. And just take 20 seconds for a bit of recovery time before we move on to our next exercise. Okay, so for our final exercise of this class, it's a little bit of a stretch, looking to work the inside of the groin, the adductors. So we're just going to open our feet out a little bit, walk them away from each other until we feel like we're in a comfortable position. And then we're going to shift our weight over onto one side. So bending the knee. So let's start off on the left side and lean over, pulling this knee down in towards the ground until you can feel that stretch in that adductor there. Again, holding this for 20 seconds and repeating on the other side. Good, and after 20 seconds, swap over to the other side and repeat. Again, bend that knee on this side, let this leg fall in and hold that position there. Nice deep breaths. Good stuff. After 20 seconds, bring yourself back into that nice starting position. Move the hips just a little bit. And we're going to move over back onto the side that we started with. This time just dropping down, just doing 15 seconds, but looking to stretch a little bit further, push ourselves as far as we can. So really shift that knee over that toe. That's it, keep holding that there. After 15 seconds, we're going to swap over and the exact same thing on the other side. Make sure we keep pulling this knee in towards the other heel. Really can stretch that groin out. Good, and after 15 seconds again, return to that start position. Shake the legs out. I should do one more for 10 seconds on each side. Again, pushing a little bit further than we did the previous time. Okay, so over we go. Try and spread them legs a bit further if we can. Can we inch that foot away just to progress it? Good stuff. And after 10 seconds, we're going to swap over and repeat on the other side. Again, can we walk this foot away a little bit just to progress? And really lean over that side. Good stuff. And again, bring you back to your starting position. Give the legs a nice little shake, and that'll bring us towards the end of the exercise, but also towards the end of the class. Thank you very much for completing it. Hope you enjoyed. We'll now take you into a bit of a cool down. Thank you. Okay, so the same way we prepare the body to warm up for exercise, we have to prepare the body to cool down in the same way. So we just to start off with that, we'll pop our hands on our hips, nice big circles, working around as far as we can. So looking to lower that heart rate back down to a resting level and keep the fluids transporting around the body to the tissues that we've worked. Nice deep breathing throughout. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good, and then change direction, the exact same thing. Try and use your hands just to guide your hips a little bit further. Really progress that stretch if you want to. Good stuff. Keep working. Twice more round, and I'll move on to our next stretch. Okay, so starting off, hands on front of the legs. We're just going to reach down to touch our toes, nice and slowly, and coming back up. Ensure we're going down as slowly as we're coming back up. Again, maintain deep breathing as we're working down to the toes and back up to our start position. Keep the knees nice and straight, don't let the knees bend as we work down. Okay, and then bring the hands up and behind the head. Again, nice deep breathing while we're working through all of these movements. So really open that chest up, nice deep breaths, and we're just going to work. Bring the hips out and the shoulders over to the other side. And the other way. And rotate to look each way. Again, just hold it at the end of the stretch and work around the opposite side. And forwards. Again, keeping them knees nice and straight. Keep the back in line and back up. Nice deep breaths as we're working down. Nice deep breaths in as we come back up. And the same thing, leaning backwards. Okay, then just moving on to a very steady, just walking on the spot. Again, looking to keep those structures working. Looking to engage that skeletal muscle pump, so every time your muscle contracts, it pumps that blood flow back around the body. Similar to where the heart does, but rather up near the heart, right down near the structures that we've worked. So again, just nice and slow, keep your breathing nice and deep. Very gentle. I'm just going to move it around the mat, just side to side. Again, just engages different muscle groups ever so slightly. Okay, then just to finish off our cool down, some really nice deep breathing. Again, the nice deep breath really helps to lower that heart rate back to its resting level. So hands on hips or behind your back, wherever feels comfortable. Really get that chest out. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just keep repeating that. And that'll bring us to the end of our cool down. Thank you very much.